Welcome to Local Matters. Today, we begin in Pembroke. For over 50 years, New England Village has provided support to individuals with disabilities and their families. Julie invited President and CEO Mike Rodrigues via Zoom to talk about their services and how they are adapting to our new normal.
So pleased to have Mike Rodrigues, who is the CEO and President of the New England Village in Pembroke. Welcome, Mike.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. I appreciate it.
Can you tell us a little bit about New England Village, what you do, what the mission is, and also how you got to be in the position that you're in?
Yeah, absolutely. New England Village, we were established in 1972 by a group of families who were looking for some more progressive alternatives for their loved ones. So we're nearly 50 years old. Our mission is to empower individuals with developmental and or intellectual disabilities to realize their potential and to pursue their dreams through the innovative services and community living that we provide. We currently serve 173 individuals with developmental disabilities. 80 of those individuals live in our 17 group residences. And the other 93 we support out in the community at 4 different locations. We provide employment services, day habilitation, and health and wellness services. It's a great organization. Staff is fantastic. Board is very involved and very supportive. I've actually been in this field for a long time. My professional career spans almost 40 years now. First 10 years of my career were in the private sector, and the last 30 have been in the nonprofit side, and with the last 25 of those serving people with developmental disabilities.
Wow, that's terrific. Now, of the people that you serve, what is the age range?
They range really from their 20s to people who are in the later stages of their life. And we actually serve people through the end of their lives. So we serve folks through all the transitions that they may be experiencing in their lives.
And the people, the 80 or so that you have that actually live there, do they live there 24/7? Is that their permanent residence?
It's their permanent residence. It's their home. Most folks have something going on in the day. They may either work or they may attend a day program. Many of them attend the day programs that New England Village provides or provided up until March 13th when COVID kind of hit us.
Right.
Yeah.
So how has your organization had to adapt since March 13th and COVID hit us?
Well, it's been a significant change for us. And in effect, our mission has changed, and our mission evolved to keeping the people who we serve in our residences, most of whom are medically fragile in some way, keeping them as safe from the virus as humanly possible. It's really interesting because the 17 homes are all housed on an 80-acre campus where I'm at right now here in Pembroke. So we've essentially created a bubble around our community. The only people who are allowed to come in are people who are either working here or who live here or who have business here. We have significant health checks for staff reporting to work as well as for individuals throughout the day. And every decision that we've made for the past few months has really been put up against kind of one ruler, which is, does it make people safer or does it not? So although it hasn't been an easy time, it has really simplified our decision making in some ways, because our job is to just keep people alive.
Sure, absolutely. Now, the people who live there clearly are very lucky to have that bubble of protection. How do you think this pandemic has affected people with developmental or disabilities otherwise that don't have that type of support that you offer?
Well, I think in some ways it's affected them the same as the rest of us in society, in some ways differently. Certainly, everyone's life and schedule has been disrupted. People's access to what they have previously enjoyed doing in the community has changed, and some people are cut off from that. In our particular case as well, we have people who are living in our residences who went for an extended period of time without being able to see their loved ones and family members. So those are not dissimilar to what everyone in society is experiencing to some degree. But in addition to that, many of the folks that we serve can't necessarily perceive of what a global pandemic is. It can't perceive of why masks are needed by their staff as well as by them in some situations. For a lot of the folks that we serve, their daily routine is extremely important to them. And so that change in the daily routine has required a lot of support on our part so that they know that they're still safe and everything is okay for them, even though in some ways things have changed quite a bit in terms of their day-to-day living.
Right. It just adds an extra layer because they really, like you said, a lot of them don't understand why this is happening. Now, what about the goods that's come out of this, the silver linings? Have you seen any? Have you found any?
Yeah, I really have. I mean, we were already a tight-knit community, and we've even become more so. The first thing I would cite is the staff, and particularly our direct support professionals, the folks who are on the front lines, and they've been creative. They've changed their schedule. They have put their own life and their own health on the line, serving the folks that we support. And by extension, that's impacted their family life. And in some cases, they have done multiple shifts here, stayed overnight, done whatever it takes. We have our staff who typically support folks in the day programs out in the community. They've been redeployed throughout the organization, so we've had no layoffs, no furloughs, and that staff has been really creative in terms of providing folks with a reasonable facsimile of the daily activities that they had enjoyed previously before COVID hit us. So a lot of creativity, a lot of togetherness. In terms of communication, that's really important. That keeps us going. So we do regular audio town halls where I speak with all the staff and we talk about things that are important to all of us. We've made sure that our staff have been well recognized, well compensated. Early on, I had the pleasure of delivering meals to staff who were working each of the 3 different shifts 24/7. And it's just really brought us together as a community. I would say that is the biggest positive by far.
That is just terrific. And the reputation of New England Village is just so stellar throughout the community, and it's so wonderful to hear that you were able to keep all the staff and that you've adjusted so well. My final question is the phased openings that are going on. Are you kind of treating the residents that you serve kind of like we're treating the elderly population, that they would be the last residents that would come back out into the world as we know it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we, in some ways, are purposely lagging behind the reopening that the greater society is experiencing, and that's because the folks that we serve are generally fragile, as are the general elderly population, as you just mentioned. So we're going slowly. We're currently planning and building out models for the reopening of our day programs, but we will not reopen those until we can ensure everyone's safety, the folks that we serve, who they may live with at home, and the staff as well. So we're treading lightly, and in some ways, day to day, what we're doing today is not that much different from what we were doing in April.
Right.
If you accept the premise that our mission has evolved to keeping people alive and making sure that virus does not get into their home, that hasn't changed for us, and I don't see that changing, frankly, until there's a vaccine available.
Right. Now, people that aren't associated with New England Village or don't take advantage of the programs and things you offer, is there a waiting list? Is there a way for people to get involved with the New England Village, or are you kind of full?
Well, there is a waiting list for residential, so you can certainly contact us directly. And we're on the web at newenglandvillage.org, and just make a connection to our residential leadership team, and we can get you on that waiting list. So there currently is. There's a waiting list for our day services as well, which I guess both of those are votes of confidence in the job that we're doing. But in terms of growth, I kind of define growth as, serving that next individual, that next family who could benefit from what New England Village has to offer without diluting what we're already doing for the folks who already depend upon us. So we will certainly do everything we can to find that next person who needs us and to figure out a way to help them.
Yeah, and that's what my last question was going to be. Are there any other resources that can assist people with disabilities and their families if they can't do this through you?
Yeah, I made a short list here, so if you forgive me. And I don't have the websites, but if you can Google any one of these, these are helpful. The Disability Law Center of Massachusetts is a great resource. Disability Community Advocacy, which is part of the state, the Executive Office of Health and Human Services. The ARC of Massachusetts is a fantastic organization that has a lot to offer individuals and families. And there is a Special Needs Advocacy Network as well. So if you Google any of those, anybody can Google those, and those are great resources. Or contact us, and we will direct you to resources that can help you or your family member.
Excellent. Mike, what wonderful work you're doing, and it's inspiring to hear you tell the story, and it's really interesting. And people should visit your website and just see the range of programs that you do offer. It's pretty amazing. Thank you so much for being with us, and I'm sure we'll talk again.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Great. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Mike and Julie. If you would like to learn more about New England Village, visit their website at newenglandvillage.org. Beginning on Sunday, August 2nd, the Kingston Farmers Market will take over a portion of the parking lot in front of Bar Rustic on the first Sunday of the month through December from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. As always, the market features local, fresh, and in-season food vendors, along with area artisans and crafters. Shop local while, of course, adhering to social distancing guidelines. Visit the website for more details. While the library building is still closed, now the Duxbury Free Library has another option to borrow the summer reads to get you through. A library tent. Open on Tuesdays and Saturdays from 10 to 2, the tent is erected in the parking lot right outside the library, where you'll be able to browse and check out books, DVDs, kits, and more. Don't forget your face mask. While necessary quarantining has left many of us scrambling to adapt and find new ways to hang out with our friends and loved ones, there is a population that is already way ahead of the curve. Gamers. Nate Greenstine is the newest member of our local scene and PACTV family, and he's here with his take on how social distancing doesn't have to mean social isolation.
These past few months have been a difficult time for all of us, as social isolation due to the COVID-19 pandemic has limited us from getting the person-to-person contact that we as human beings need. Even as our state opens up, we are still limited in when, where, and how we socialize. As we search for new ways to stay connected with those we care about, one social outlet has been a huge resource for people to not only speak with one another, but also to interact and hang out in a virtual space. Online gaming, often touted as a limiter of socialization, is now being lauded as a way to spend time with friends from a safe distance and even meet new people with similar interests. I sat down with a few of my friends that have been using video games as a social outlet even before this pandemic to discuss how gaming has impacted them during this time of social distancing.
It's been difficult being in social isolation, but for me it's not been nearly as bad because I have video games to go and do every day.
Social isolation has been okay. It's really interesting. My close circle of friends are always within literally fingertip distance with me without actually being physically near me. So I think it's really important that I wanted to touch upon the fact of the use of socializing online.
Where I live, there's a big outdoor culture, and it's a big thing to go outside and experience, nature and live your life in that manner. So it's been pretty hard for a lot of people to adjust to that. Fortunately for me, I've been gaming, most of my childhood. So it's something that I could fall back on when all that became unavailable.
This should come as no surprise. Videogames.org, a social enterprise that studies technology and its impacts on people, states, video games have created a fun and engaging way of connecting with people and can act as an important teaching tool for developing social skills. These skills are important in the outside world for creating and maintaining friendships, especially in school and work environments. If you aren't a pre-existing gamer, how can you get started? Video gaming is an activity with a lot of different options, and it can be daunting to approach with no experience. So what resources are there to help you and your friends start gaming? When it comes to communication, there's one resounding answer.
It's kind of weird. So the way that we do it is we use a chat service called Discord.
I actually use Discord.
I don't feel isolated in the fact that I can get on a program called Discord, which is basically a gaming version of Skype, and talk to my friends and communicate with them over Discord and play games with them. So I'm still interacting with them without necessarily having to be in the same room with them.
Finding the right game isn't going to be a one-size-fits-all process, and everyone has their preferences and favorites. When it comes to gaming with friends, I enjoy games where I can work together for a common goal, whether that be dungeon runs in a massive multiplayer online game like Elder Scrolls Online, serving up as many delicious meals as possible before the time runs out in Overcooked 2, or sailing the beautiful high seas with my mateys in search of treasure in Sea of Thieves.
The type of games I would recommend to people who are looking to socialize, if you have a good gaming group, I do recommend like getting a squad sort of game like Overwatch, where you can get the whole group together.
A lot of the games that me and my friends play together are the games that don't really require a lot of thought to be good at or to have fun at. Call of Duty is one of the games that comes to mind.
A lot of competitive games, COD, Overwatch. Actually, with the new release of Valorant, it's really gotten a lot of people's attention.
If you still aren't sure about what games to play, or you want to try a variety of different games to find your favorite, you can use a subscription service like PlayStation Now or Xbox Games Pass. These offer a variety of different games every month for you to download and play. For those of you who don't have a group to game with, worry not. Video games have been an outlet for making new friends just as much as supporting old ones. There are plenty of places to find groups to play with.
Twitch is a great place, great platform where you stream games for people to watch for entertainment. Like how it's so entertaining, and also that's another way that you can find people to play with online.
You can go to Twitch and you can talk and chat with other people that are watching the same streamers, and you can sort of communicate with them. And if you build a connection with someone over that chat base, you can maybe add them on Discord and you guys could play together and start becoming friends.
For finding people to play with, I would say to potentially look on websites such as like Reddit. That's definitely a good way to like find a really good community to play specific games.
You can find groups to play with in general on subreddits such as r/gamerpals, or you can look for more specific games such as r/fireteams, which helps players find fire teams to do group activities with in Destiny 2. Reddit isn't the only site to find groups to game with. Any social media is gonna have gamer groups, and all it takes is finding the one that best fits you. Just because you want to do your part to stop this virus and stay safe doesn't mean you have to be lonely. Now's the time to join your friends and go on an epic adventure in the digital world.
Thank you, Nate. Great job. And welcome to the PACTV family. The Duxbury Senior Center is hosting Critical COVID-19 Information for Seniors, a Zoom event to be held on Tuesday, August 4th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Guest speakers will be Drs. Michael Wagner and Andreas Klein. Sign up via the Senior Center's Facebook page to learn more about how to stay safe, not get sick in the first place, and a question and answer session following. Because of COVID-19, the deadline to convert to a real ID has been postponed from this fall to October 1st of 2021. After that date, we will all need a real ID driver's license or ID card to enter a federal building and to board a domestic flight. AAA and the Pembroke Public Library are hosting a virtual information session on August 6th at 4:00 p.m. to fill you in on what documents you'll need and what you need to do to obtain a virtual ID in Massachusetts. Visit the Pembroke Public Library website to register. A while back, local storyteller Jenny Lee was on the show with her story about Hannah Cranna, a fun and spooky story that we heard from many of you about. You loved it. Jenny Lee is back with a new tale to tell.
The stories of New England are full to the brim of all manner of strange and wondrous folk. Some good, some bad, some a fair mix of the two. But some of the figures that haunt our tales stand in the ranks of the downright evil. Today, I'll tell you of a particular brand of evildoer that used to haunt our shores. They were called wreckers. Have you heard of them? These evil men were the scourge of all honest and good sailors, feared just as much as pirates and almost as much as witches, which is saying something. Down Cape, we used to call them moon cussers, because they only went about their wicked business on moonless nights. And their business was this. On the darkest of nights, these men would prowl along the shorelines, holding lanterns, and looking for ships out on the sea seeking safe harbor. And when a ship was spotted, they would hold aloft their lanterns, Judas lanterns, they used to call them, and guide the ships, unsuspecting as they were, onto the shallows, where they would be wrecked and broken up on the rocks there, and sink beneath the waves. The wreckers then would scavenge any treasure that might wash ashore from the unfortunate vessels, filling their pockets with the gold of dead men, and sometimes even finishing off the poor, odd, unfortunate sailor that might have made it to shore. I heard of one such wrecker. Harry Mayne was his name. They say he lived up in Ipswich town, and he used to ply this very same trade on a bar of sand called Plum Island, just a little ways down the shore from the town. Now, the old folks used to say that Harry Mayne had made his living in just about every disreputable way you can imagine. In his time, he had been a smuggler, a thief, a gambler, a highwayman, a debtor, even a pirate. But it wasn't until the end of his miserable life that he made his name for himself as a wrecker on Ipswich. Now, the old folks used to say that 2 out of every 3 wrecks off the coast of that town could be credited to him. And there were rumors of a huge treasure begotten from his evil deeds that he had amassed somewhere hidden in Ipswich. But no amount of gold can stop nature or the weight of a life ill-lived from taking its toll. And if Harry Mayne did have a king's fortune of stolen loot hidden somewhere in Ipswich, it did him little good when he finally died and was buried in an unmarked grave somewhere on Plum Island. For all the ill he had lived, he went fairly peacefully, as I heard it said. And the good people of Ipswich were a bit put out, feeling it slightly unfair that he should have gotten off so lightly for all that he had plagued them. But they needn't have worried long. Let it never be said that the devil doesn't come up with fitting punishments for evil souls. And that old Nick, he outdid himself with Harry Mayne, for after he died, the devil tied his soul to that very same sandbar in Plum Island and cursed him for eternity to stay there and spend the rest of forever binding huge chains out of sand. Day after day, night after night, every minute of every hour, Harry Mayne's ghost could be found on Plum Island, pushing and hauling great piles of sand this way and that way up and down the length of the bar, until he had great chains laid out side by side in nice neat rows all the way down to the shoreline. But the devil likes his jokes. And it seemed to tickle him, especially when he found that Harry had made some progress and had a particularly lovely set of sand chains all laid out on the shore, to send a huge nor'easter to blow across the bars of Ipswich and blow away all his fine work in the gales. When the storms kicked up, it said you could hear the ghost of Harry Mayne screaming in frustration, his howls and cries coming all the way up from the bar, spreading all throughout the town of Ipswich. Even now, it said, when the winds kick up and the nor'easters blow across Ipswich and the winds begin to howl, the old people of the town will jerk a wary chin in the direction of Plum Island and say, in whispered tones, old Harry Mayne's grumbling at his work again. Now, Harry Mayne isn't the only devil-doomed sandbinder on a coast of New England. And this isn't the only story in which he and his fated treasure might feature. But I'll tell you those another time.
Jenny Lee is a history teacher, folklorist, and storyteller from Cape Cod. To learn more about her, visit neststorytelling.com. While the Plymouth Public Library continues to provide curbside service at the Main and Manmet branch libraries, they are also hosting special virtual programming for different interests and ages. Throughout the summer, children's literature specialist Robert Zuccaroli will be leading virtual book talks for grades 3 through 5 on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. He'll read a book and then lead a discussion that children can join in on. The theme this summer is Black authors and illustrators in children's literature. Visit the library's website to register. Middle Street School of Music in downtown Plymouth is finding novel ways to keep in touch with their students and is using their new music education YouTube channel to provide helpful lessons, tips, and are continuing lessons online. Pat Drain and Paul Kinnear took a break to send us a performance of their own. We bring you Moon Dance.
In the moonlight, can I have
Thank you, Pat and Paul. That was great. To learn more about Middle Street School of Music, visit their website at middlestreetmusic.com. And thank you for watching this episode of Local Matters, which is a production of the local scene of PACTV. Visit our website at pactv.org/local scene for a complete list of resources mentioned in this show. Follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook to keep updated on the ways our community refuses to magnify our differences, but focuses on our common goals for our common good. From all of us at PACTV, be safe. We'll see you soon.